Switch.
Shit.
It'll get there.
I guess I'll do this.
Yeah.
I guess I'll do this
switch.
New Game Plus file.
You are live on Twitch at least.
Cool.
All right, we'll just wait for the auto toggle to switch on our website.
Where is it? There it is.
But I guess if people want to say hi and stuff in chat when they hear us, that would be good.
Turnip says we're live.
Okay, cool. I'm just waiting for auto switcher to kick in because I'm watching that.
Is staring at the site.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's what I do. It's my thing.
Sounds good to me.
We need some music. I'm just kidding. We don't need music.
Oh, I can play some music lightly in the background.
No, that's okay. You don't need to do that. I'm assuming that you have game sounds going.
Very, very low.
Okay.
Because-
No, that's good.
I'm updating the other article, so
Okay.
I'll do it because we got. I think. Hold on. 1, 2. We've got a top 4.
Okay.
For everybody, kind of. More
Okay,
than
no,
one
that's
person picked each of these,
Okay, that's good.
and then the rest. I mean, we can kind of point out some outliers.
Honorable mentions.
There's one I want to point out for sure.
Outliers. That's not fair. They're honorable mentions, and you know it.
Farts.
Oh well, that's an outlier. I don't know what is going on in that post. I'm kind of just not paying attention to that one.
Wait, I can't. Hold on. You didn't link a. Oh, I'll just...
I didn't link an editable link. Hold on. I didn't want to edit the.
There.
Oh yeah, that's fine. I didn't want to edit the. What do you call it?
Yeah, I know.
I didn't want to have the Excel spreadsheet get edited because that would be bad.
Yeah. I'm just gonna add stuff onto the.
Auto switcher, why are you failing?
I'm gonna just hit 1, just so I can see what Tea Time's doing.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Tea Time, you're live. Yes.
Yeah, I'm live.
All right, cool. I guess we'll just get started then.
Hello.
Hi.
That's a good way to start off the new year. Hearing that nice flumminess in your earphones. Hello, everyone. Brennan
Hi.
here. Welcome to the VGZ Awards 2017 edition. Excuse me, the Super 2017 VGZ Game Awards.
Arcade edition.
Deadpool has died in the background, apparently, but I am here with Deadpool and.
Yes, I am not dead.
Okay, he's not dead. Good. And Tea Time is
Hello.
doing the pleasure for streaming for us. He is playing Dark Souls 3, which of course is Game of the Year 2017.
Yeah, it's very
I'm
good.
just gonna say
Very happy this game released in 2017.
yes, 2017.
Yes.
Yes.
The year it released.
The year, the year of our Lord,
Shit.
2017. Oh fuck, we messed up. Oh no. Thank you all for joining us. This is what you all voted on.
Yeah.
I mean, we all have a say, and this is the community's say. So,
I stuffed
you know,
the ballots.
Yeah, T actually. It's a lot of ballots. You don't need to DDoS the Google page, all right?
No, it's fine.
No, but I want to thank, first of all, before we get started, I want to thank everybody who contributed this year.
Of course.
A lot of great entries. And as always, Happy New Year. It is January 1st, so... And it is January, at least January 1st everywhere.
Yes.
So we can at least say Happy New Year, and everybody has to be like, yep, you're right, Happy New Year, uh-huh.
We are no longer in the future.
Yes. And we should have some special guests joining us this evening.
Mm-hmm. In a bit.
Hopefully in a bit. I'm assuming one is just, slapping his kid to bed, so...
Wow! Going there. Okay.
Oh, yeah, we're... Oh, there's the whole part, sir. This is the Game of the Year Awards.
Is it really,
Is
though?
it JonTron?
Yeah.
I've got to
it
say...
is.
I've got to
Hello,
say,
Bodo.
our list...
I was always here. There is nothing you can say to prove otherwise, okay?
Our list...
That's true. I saw him. He was sitting right next to me the entire time.
Oh, okay.
I've got to say, our list is 100% better than Giant Bomb's list.
Our list is always 100% better than everybody else's.
But no, objectively, our list is better. Holy shit! Look at that top 5, though.
Yeah, top 5 is
name
pretty
dropping popular podcasts won't make us any better.
That's true.
That's fair.
My
But
my
they're
opinion.
not better, so we can name drop them all we want.
That's true.
Hey!
Hey!
Ring one up for the good guys. Alright.
Oh shit.
Here's to our continued failures. Woo!
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh.
No, we'll get
Anyway,
into...
Happy New Year. Let's begin.
Yeah, we'll get into 2018 and the future a little bit later on. But as this is the VGZ Awards, we're going to start off with my favorite, most misinterpreted entry for the 2017 awards. And to be fair, every year we've done an awards, this has been the most misinterpreted category. And that is, of course, the, in brackets, pretentious indie game of the year. Now, some people, I don't know what's going on. We've always said pretentious indie game because it's always funny in that respect. But I think a lot of people have posted about, like, there's a couple of people who said, "Oh, this isn't pretentious." It's like, no, it's actually just indie game of the year. And
all indie games are pretentious by nature. Actually,
yes, exactly. That's actually no. I think there was actually a lot of great indie games that got released this year.
Yes.
I think a lot of people pointed out some really good points. Of course, we had a perennial favorite by many, I'm sure, is Cuphead. A lot of people like Cuphead. Maybe not as many as posted it in this list, but that's the good thing, I think, is that I think the awesome thing about the Indie Game of the Year section is that there's only like one or two results that are common between everybody. Everybody has their own different posts about which indie game they liked the most. And so I think that's pretty great. For example, Requiem or Gradients or whatever he wants to go by
Name dropping
nowadays.
Yep.
Yeah. Posted Night in the Woods because that came out in 2017. He's like, Night in the Woods is literally Millennial Simulator 2017.
It is, yeah.
And everything about the game, end of the game, is left open to interpretation. I'm really glad about that. And, I mean, from what I have heard of the game, I have not personally played it. Deadpool, have you played it?
I own it now on 3 different consoles. I really need to play it.
How do you back up? How do you own 3 copies of a game you haven't played? How does that happen?
This is the Deadpool disease.
How does that happen?
It just does. Don't worry about it, man.
Okay.
Okay. That's pretty great.
But
Deadpool.
No,
Go ahead.
it's a game that and Oxenfree. I always go to play them, and then I was just like, well, I could play them, or I could watch people like Callie stream them. And so.
And then you forget to play them.
But it's not like I'm, like, this is an argument for streams and YouTubers. It's like, I will buy the game. I might not play the game, but I enjoy the game, and I might enjoy watching other people play it more than me playing it.
Fair. So, Deadpool, since you own that game on 3 consoles, tell us about your indie game of the year.
The fuck did I put on mine? Mine made 0 sense.
You put Heat Signature.
Oh, yeah. Oh my god, that game. I did not play it for very long so far. But,
Well, tell us about it, because I actually have not heard of Heat Signature, and considering your description...
okay, so you have not... Neither of you have seen, or... Okay.
No, I know nothing of it. I've actually never heard of it until I looked at this spreadsheet.
Yeah, so you guys know Hotline Miami, right?
Yes.
Now imagine if Hotline Miami was an open world game set in space where you could go to hundreds of ships and just fuck shit up with, like, time stop stuff.
Oh, okay. So kind of like a Super Hot mixed with Hotline Miami mixed with, like...
Damn it.
Alien.
It's kind of nuts, because, like, not only is it all that, but, like, you can also use friends' characters and unlock them, and they have like their own stories that you have to go through to unlock them.
Oh, okay.
And I fucked up unlocking Broviet's, and his character died on my account. But like, it still exists for him, but in my story of my
It's
game.
dead.
Yeah, the only downside
That's
with that
pretty
game, which is why I did not put it up for any other category, is that the only way to change resolution is to change your monitor's resolution.
Really?
Jesus.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's pretty bad in that respect.
That's pretty bad. Looks like Donut says it's the same dev as Gunpoint.
Oh
Okay,
shit.
that's interesting.
Yeah, the quick look of Heat Signature, if you want to check it out, is really good and made me want to buy it immediately.
Okay. Alright, that's a pretty good one. Let's see. Moto, did you fill out this damn form? I don't see you on here. What the fuck is wrong with you? You wanted to be on here? You son of a bitch.
I'm an enigma, alright? I just appear.
Whoa. Okay. Well, what is, do you have an indie game of the year that you enjoyed?
I mean, mine's the popular vote. I went for Cuphead.
Yeah.
Okay. Cuphead's pretty good. I can agree with that assessment.
And we all, I mean, I don't really need to expound on it, but we know why.
Yeah,
Because
no, I...
just because of the care that was put into the game, the music, everything about it, it's just really interesting and fun. And even though Q gave me a lot of shit while I was trying to enjoy it,
yeah,
I still had fun with it.
That's good.
Sounds like an average gaming experience then, yeah.
Well,
average in the queue giving him shit.
Oh yes, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Broviet was
It was
here.
mostly because
here.
he was already like through the entire game, and it was my first time playing it, and he was talking shit all the time.
Hell yeah. That's the way.
Acknowledge Broviet.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's.
Okay, cool. So your indie game of the year nomination. I know it wasn't required.
Yeah, I didn't fill it in.
But I kind of
Does this work
expected.
now?
Yeah, hey Broviet.
Hello.
Hey.
I was
Nice of you to join us.
I was a big stupid idiot, and I forgot I played and liked Hollow Knight. But then I remembered, so now I'm going to say that I liked and I played it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I incoming hot take. I don't really like how Cuphead plays, and that's why I didn't nominate that instead. I don't like that style. I don't like that style of video game, so that's why I didn't put
And
it
that's
up.
fine. I mean, you don't have to like it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's all of these categories are obviously subjective. It's what do you feel is the best of this? So I mean that's fine. I don't believe it's the type of game I'll enjoy. I am going to play it at some point. I do kind of own a copy of it via Kathy, but I personally haven't played it. But I am probably going to at some point as soon as I try to get through some of my other backlog, which means I probably will never get to it. Broviet, since you just joined us and you put a game
Hello,
on here,
yes.
Yeah, you did.
your
I
indie
did.
game of the year was Brigador, which I'm also not familiar with, which is awesome. I've learned about 2 new games today. Tell me about Brigador.
So essentially, it's an isometric game where you get in your mech or your tank or whatever, and then you just blow everything up on the map.
Oh, yes. I know of this video game. It looked cool from what I've seen.
So what's like the art style like? Like explain.
The art style very.
It's
I don't know how to describe
Oh.
it except like cyberpunky.
Yeah, it looks it's very reminiscent of the
Very
more recent like Shadowrun games almost. It looks like.
Yeah, Chibi has a good description. Very neon, very grimy.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. Very neon, very grimy. That's pretty cool. That looks like a really fun game. Might be another pickup before the Steam sale is over. Although it looks like its lowest historical price on Steam was cheaper at one point or another back in October. So,
just wait for the next sale.
that's probably what I'll end up doing. I have such a backlog at this point.
Yeah.
That's essentially what it is, Donut. MechWarrior Shadowrun.
That's what it looks like, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that aesthetic.
Like that's even what the plot line is. You're basically a mercenary that's hired to just smash shit
Awesome.
for a mega corporation.
Hell yeah.
That's really cool. That definitely sounds like a fun time. And
Yeah.
I definitely will look into that. All right. Well, as for me, my indie game of the year, and actually, who put in as well? I think it was.
Oh no.
Turnup. Yeah, Turnup. Turnup and myself both agreed on Golf Story. I will preach Golf Story until the end of time. I do hope that they someday either release DLC or make like Tennis Story, because they made a reference to that in the game. So Golf Story, for those of you who don't know, is a golf RPG.
Yeah.
Literally the best way to explain it. It's got so much character in the art and the music and the text and the full dialogue of the game and just the story. It's just got a lot of heart. And I think it's one of those games that unfortunately, like, it got put up. I remember it showed up randomly in a Nintendo Minute for the Switch. I think it was like one of the first ones they did for indie stuff. And I remember seeing it and going, what the fuck is Golf Story? And I bought it on release, and I probably beat it in a week, over the course of a week. And I felt sad after I beat it because I didn't want it to end. Like, it was one of those gaming experiences where you play the game and it just ends too quickly because you blast through the game, loving and absorbing all of the game and its character.
Is it like
so for me?
Oh, sorry. Is it a Switch exclusive?
At the moment, it is a Switch exclusive. I'm hoping they do give a PC release at some point so more people can play it.
Yeah, I don't see them not doing a PC release because if they didn't, they're just lowering the amount of people who will be able to play it.
I think they kind of got the like the No Man's Sky treatment from Nintendo, that like Nintendo was like, hey, we'll help you out. Well, I mean, in the respect that like Nintendo was like, hey, we'll help you out with the development of the game as long as you maintain exclusivity for a while for us. Because the game, obviously, if the game runs on the Switch, it should be able to run on PC pretty easily. It's the same instruction set. It should not be that hard. So I'm assuming it's going to come out on the PC. Probably, I figure it'll come out on the PC later this year. When it does, I will. You trust me, you will know, because I will blast the shit out of chat, and I will be buying that on day one so I can support that company. Because I think they're like a two-man team that has literally like never had a game before.
Yeah.
And the company's called Sidebar Games. They've literally never made a game before this one.
Right.
And it's just one of those games, as I said, like, if you don't like consoleized, like, SNES level, like, golf games, you might not enjoy it as much, but it's really worth it overall, because the story is just fun. There's disc golf, which is funny. It gets thrown in there, and I could go on for days, so I'll stop, but if you have a Switch and you don't have Golf Story, you need to fix it. If you do have a Switch and you already have Golf Story, you probably know what I'm talking about. The game is just awesome.
Interestingly enough, that game was originally supposed to be a Wii U game.
Rip.
I'm not surprised.
Rip the Wii U.
Rip the Wii U.
It never came out for the Wii U because of time constraints and the scope getting
I'm not surprised.
larger.
The Wii U being a piece of crap. But
also, I'm all about some golf. Golf is it's the in-joke in the game. There's a NES game in there, and I didn't realize Fangamer has a shirt, so I need that golf shirt post haste. But golf is great. The game is great. Go play it if you haven't, and if you own a Switch, you should definitely pick it up. It's a great experience. All right. So that was Indie Game of the Year. There's a couple more point outs. Melty's Quest, Putin said, because Putin. Doki Doki Literature Club came out this year. I know a lot of people have talked about how
that's definitely an indie
awesome
game.
That game is. That's definitely a pretentious indie game.
That's
I'll read off. Since Donuts helping us out, I'll read off Donuts' nomination in the
forum.
The forum. Yeah, the forum. He voted on Battle Chef Brigade. Although he says he would go to Hand of Fate 2, but he likes Hand of Fate 1 and thinks that Hand of Fate 1 was really good, and he feels that Battle Chef Brigade is stellar in so many fields: artwork, conception, world building, blending of game mechanics, everything, and therefore should get the nod from him. And that makes sense. Giving games that sort of nod is a good idea. Rook gave it to Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy, which was just a recent Donkey video.
See, that one I almost feel like could have been Game of the Year if people cared enough.
Which one?
That was a fucking...
That's a...
Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy.
Oh, no.
That game looks...
Man in Kettle with...
That game...
Oh, that thing.
That game looks very fun, and I want to play it.
Kettle or Cauldron? I mean...
Cauldron, sorry.
It's on Humble Bundle. Like,
how many doll hairs?
I think it's like $5.
Okay.
$5. Buzzard voted on A Hat in Time.
That's a really good one too.
I guess that's a fair one to put.
I'm got around to it. I just bought it.
He said that any of the reasons he voted on games was quote unquote because it was fun. So
that's not a valid metric, a measurement. Oh God, when it comes to video games.
I know, right? And Venom said "fuck you, Zed," and that's not very nice.
Oh.
Well, he did leave us for that sweet YouTube money.
He did leave us for that sweet YouTube money.
Mm-hmm.
And Brightside voted for Dead Cells. It's amazing combination of a hot button indie game with roguelike and Metroidvania type ideas and a nice aesthetic design. I've actually heard of before.
I really want to play Dead Cells, but it's early access, and I am staunchly against early access.
He's religiously against early fartses.
Yeah, I understand. No, I totally I respect that. It's not a. I totally respect your opinion, and you're allowed to have one. Anyways, let's move on. So those are the indie games of the year. Once again, I guess I'll preface this now for the rest of the sort of podcast. The only game of the year that we're actually going to pick as like a VGZ sort of game of the year will be the actual game of the year nomination. Yeah. Otherwise, we're just going to kind of go over what people were saying and give our own thoughts to games. Yep. And obviously, this list is not exhaustive because there were so many games that came out this year. Great games that came out this year.
What's the opposite of exhaustive? Half-assed?
I played like 3 games. No, I'm joking. I played
probably half-assed.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say earlier because of the backlog thing, and I'll get around to these. Now I get Humble Bundle monthly every month.
I do too. It's terrible.
This month they gave me the fucking Quantum Break and
another 9 games.
I only got the Humble Bundle that one time when XCOM 2 was on it, and then I canceled immediately after.
I kind of wish I got that one because that one was one of the best ones.
They keep giving me games, man.
Yep, same. That's actually, I picked up some good stuff on there. But anyways, we're not talking about the Humble Bundle. We're talking next about handheld/mobile game of the year. Now, I combined these two categories because after thinking about it, realistically speaking, there's really, and everybody's going to go, put the Vita, but there's really only one handheld left in the market, unfortunately.
Yeah, you're right.
The Vita!
You're right, the Vita is the only handheld left in the market. Please leave it.
I cannot name a singular game that released in 2017 for the Vita.
Vita means life.
I own it.
Ease 8 came out for the Vita.
That got a Vita port? I thought that was that.
It was originally on the Vita, and then they also made a PS4 game copy of it. The PS4 version's actually better. The PS4 version's actually better, but anyway.
Well, I mean,
of course it is.
Digimon Story came out for Vita.
Cyber Sleuth?
Secret of Mana.
Yeah. Cyber Sleuth.
Yeah.
It also came out on PS4.
Secret of Mana is out, the remake? What?
Oh no, that's on 2018. I'm sorry.
Okay, I was very confused.
But anyway, so I combined the handheld and mobile game of the year awards because of that, and I think it made sense. And I think a lot of people actually took it to heart a bit because we do have quite a bit of nominations here.
Yep.
If we did have to pick one runaway winner, I think a lot of people agreed that Metroid: Samus Returns pretty much destroyed.
Hell yeah!
That was a good game.
Handhelds. Yeah. Oh, it was a damn good game. Definitely. It would definitely should have been if this game of the year nomination list wasn't so large. It could probably be put into that list just because it being a remake of Metroid 2 and it just being so successfully done is pretty great.
I don't know. I don't think it's game of the year material. It's a good ass game, but it's got problems.
I mean, I guess okay.
It's got problems. I think.
But, I think at the very least it showed that Nintendo actually does still kind of care about Metroid.
Yeah, they can.
From the perspective that they can make one again.
Yeah, they can still. Well, yeah, definitely. I'm very excited for if they make another one. Hopefully, because I don't know how well Samus Returns sold. I have no idea.
It's a good question.
Well, thanks to the power of the internet.
No, I don't know.
I
hope it sold well.
I will tell you.
Maybe. But
so I'll go through a couple of the other couple of the other nominations here in the mobile game of the handheld mobile game of the year. Donut nominated Monument Valley 2 because that did come out this year. He said, soothing and interesting in that a title with so much similarities to its previous iteration, but still feels very refreshing in its storytelling and mood. So, I haven't played. I've seen the Monument Valley games, but have not played them.
Yep.
It's definitely on my list of games.
What is Monument Valley?
It's a mobile game. It's like a puzzle 'em up, I think.
It's like a puzzle. Yeah, it's like a puzzle like platformer, if I recall correctly. Really well done. The aesthetic is very. I won't say unique because a lot of people have copied it, but when it first came out, it was very unique in its own right.
Yes.
Nowadays, it's the original, but had a lot of copycats basically. Brooke actually voted for Pokemon Go, which is actually kind of surprising. I guess the newer stuff. I know, like Kathy's been playing it. And looks like they added quite a bit of content to it, which is kind of cool.
See, if Callie was here, he could be talking up and down that. So I feel like we should kind of hold off on talking about
Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go. If
that's fair. Well, if he cuts on, then he can come talk about it. And I'll let his thing go too, because he can talk about that as well. Turnup posted Monster Hunter Stories for the 3DS, because I forgot that came out this year.
It did. I played a bunch of it.
He notes that it successfully distills the Monster Hunter games into a single-player adventure with Pokemon-style collecting and battling. Love being surprised by the quality and depth of games like this, which you naturally expect to be shallow cash-ins, which I think is probably fair. But I think the one thing is, I don't think they would have made it as much of a cash-in because the 3DS really, you have to make a game of quality if you want it to sell well in there, I think.
No way. If it has the name Monster Hunter in it and it's on a portable system, that shit's flying off the shelves.
I would
well, I mean, at least in Japan.
That's true. That's true.
At least in Japan, I'll give you in Japan that's true. But if you want to try to make it successful outside of Japan, I think it's a little more difficult.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know how well Monster Hunter Stories did in the U.S. I bought it. It's a good game. I haven't beaten it, but I liked it.
It's one I actually haven't picked up yet, unfortunately.
It's different. It's definitely worth a try. There's a demo out that's free, and it's like the entire first bit, like the first area of the game, if you want to try it out. It gives you a pretty good idea of what most of the game will be, which is nice. Yeah. So you should try that.
Oh, that's fair.
I feel like that's the story for most of us. We've bought the game, but we haven't finished the game.
That's fair. Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Venom voted for Animal Crossing Camp, which...
Heck yeah!
I mean, I think it was fun. It was fun for the first week and a half that I played it. That's about where I'm at on it. Let's see. Requiem posted the game he worked on this year, I think, which is called Cookie Jam Blast.
Yes.
So I'll give
Is that cheating?
He gets his shout out.
No
He
way.
gets his shout out.
No
for
way.
That.
No, he does not. That's not cheating.
That's super legit.
Well, no, because he actually said no. Really, he meant Fire Emblem Warriors or Fire Emblem Heroes. Sorry.
No, the game that everybody played. Yeah.
Yeah, the game that literally I think almost everybody in VGZ played.
I haven't touched it. I haven't.
Well, you're the
I
only
didn't
one.
either.
Yeah.
But that's because I'm not that big of a fan of Fire Emblem.
Same.
And Broviet, you also voted for it being your
by process of elimination.
Yeah, I know.
A lot of the stuff I voted on was like, well, what did I even play in that category?
Exactly.
That's fair.
Because I really don't think I've touched my 3DS much this year.
Yeah, it's definitely you know what it is. You know what it is. I think most people will agree that have Switches that it's like, well, I have this other really great console that I can play on the, not necessarily on the go, but sitting on the couch without having to have a TV hooked up.
Yep.
And I think that kind of did it at least for a little bit.
Yeah.
My Switch is currently sitting next to me.
Especially with how the Switch is getting a lot of indie support as opposed to the 3DS now.
Yeah. My Switch is sitting on the other side of the house because I haven't moved the dock.
Yeah, well, because so the 3D,
I'm very lazy.
The 3DS,
next level laziness.
As far as I can remember, the only big profile 3DS titles that came out this year were Metroid and Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon. I can't.
Metopia.
Metopia! Shit, I forgot about that game.
Yeah, see, a lot of people forgot about Metopia.
That's a fun ass
game. Was Metopia
game.
this year?
Yeah, that was this summer.
Yeah.
It was this summer. Yeah, it was
No,
this
no,
summer.
No, not Miitopia,
Sorry.
not Miitopia. What the hell? It was the questy one.
I'm confusing Miitopia with Miitomo. My bad.
Miitomo.
Yeah, you're confusing Miitopia with Miitomo.
Wait.
Miitopia was the one that came out this year. That totally came out this summer. Cold Step Revolt came out this year. What was the other 3DS one that came out this year? Fucking Dragon Quest VIII came out this year. The Dragon Quest VIII remake.
Damn! I played the hell out of that. Oh no! I need to swap that out for Metroid. last minute nomination change. Hurry!
Get your thing to the Pony Express quick.
Oh, I'm so bad at remembering video games that came out.
There were a lot this year.
Yeah, but the thing is though, and this is the point, is that a lot of people forgot about a lot of these. You know? That's the thing. Like, I was glued to my 3DS last year.
Monster Hunter Generations came out, I think the US release was 2017. I think
you're correct.
Double Cross was definitely this year, because I played it a bunch, and it's not the best Monster Hunter. 4 Ultimate's way better. But
Moto's talk so we can tell if your microphone is better.
I mean, I've been talking ever since I changed the volume.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good. Then yeah, it sounds pretty good.
Oh.
I'm trying to think of what else released. There was a bunch of stuff that actually released for the 3DS.
Why? Why can't
I ended up not playing it as much.
I definitely did not buy many games this year.
I bought Metroid. I bought Nier, Yakuza.
Let me just open my Amazon orders real quick here.
See,
man.
that made me think of a Nier Yakuza game.
That would be pretty good. Well, alright, well then, you know what? Since we're talking about Nier and Yakuza and
I like
let's
those
talk about
games.
Let's talk about console game of the year.
Oh boy.
Oh right, I bought Ever Oasis.
Oh, that's a good ass
right.
game.
Ever Oasis came with this year too.
Oh, I bought that too, and I liked it. Damn it! How am I so bad at remembering things?
Come on.
So we had a console release this year, and therefore, obviously, I think console game of the year kind of got overridden a little bit because of that.
Oh god, yeah.
I think a little. But I definitely think there were some picks in here that were definitely for consoles that weren't released this year. Including, of course, Nier Automata.
Yes.
Which Putin posted and said this game shouldn't exist, just like a lot of other things, but it brings hope that some things can come true.
I didn't know whether or not to put Nier in there because it also got a PC release. So
but that's fair.
So I was like, well, it's not really an exclusive. So I kind of saved
that. It was an exclusive for 2 weeks, so that counts.
Yeah. I think it does it.
It does today. In the year of 2018 and 2017, it definitely was more of a thing where they're like, an exclusive is something that's exclusive for like a week.
Yeah, I did. I will admit that I had a little bit of an oversight in regards to the description for this award. I blamed Deadpool because I asked him to review the awards for me, and
I just looked at grammar.
Why do you go to him?
I agree.
I posted it in prod chat, and nobody else said anything. Yeah. So, but seriously, some people did post PC games in here, anywhere games that were released on PC, anyways. And Nier Automata definitely got a lot of callouts. A lot of other people, including myself, put in the vote for Super Mario Odyssey.
Hell yeah.
I was actually kind of surprised at the VGX awards that they voted for Breath of the Wild over Super Mario Odyssey, because I thought personally, I thought Mario Odyssey was fantastic. Now, we could talk about Game of the Year later, but I think Mario Odyssey was just, and I put this in my description, is that it was Mario at its most pure. It had the most, a good amount of nostalgia thrown in for taste, and it just had one of those soundtracks that just kept you grooving. It had controls that were not necessarily the most absolute forgiving, but if you mastered them, you felt like you accomplished something, which I think is a requirement for those sorts of games.
The platforming is top notch. Like,
on that subject,
the amount of control you have over Mario is amazing. I love it. It's
fuck
great.
The cap throw with a jump and the second jump. Fuck that thing.
That's so easy to do.
Eventually.
Once you learn how to do it, it's easy.
Yeah,
it's so easy to do.
I had to relearn it because at first I was playing it with the Joy-Cons docked, and then I was like, oh, there's all this stuff you can only do with waggling. So I swapped over to having them both in one hand, and I'm still not back to
holding both in one hand.
Holding
one in both hands. Fuck you.
I played all of Odyssey with a Joy-Con in each hand, kind of separate. I was kind of just lounging around. It was great.
Yeah,
I had a great time.
Yeah, I actually used the Pro Controller the entire time.
Oh, how terrible! Actually, is the Pro Controller good? I don't know.
It was great. I love the Pro Controller.
Pro Controller is good, but you literally cannot do some of the actions.
How does it hold up next to the Wii U Pro Controller?
Oh, I think it's better. In the Wii U Pro Controller?
Yeah.
I definitely think it's better.
Oh, okay. Because I'm in love with that controller.
As someone who only used the Wii U Pro Controller when I was at friends' house and shit, and then now that I own the Switch with the Pro Controller, they feel identical to me. But I don't know.
I don't know if personally, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but as somebody, I did have the Wii U Pro Controller, and I bought the Switch Pro Controller on launch. I actually love the Switch Pro Controller. It's probably my second, maybe third favorite controller currently available for consoles. It's pretty fucking close.
Also, it's on sale a lot lately for like $50.
Yeah.
If you didn't want to pay that 70 shit earlier, that I did and a few other people did, but yeah.
I don't know. Mario Odyssey is a good ass game though.
Yeah.
It's the closest thing I've gotten to a proper sequel to Mario 64, which is my favorite 3D Mario game. Actually, my favorite Mario game in general, because I don't really like 2D Mario. I love that game.
Yeah.
Odyssey's great. I'm a big fan.
No, Odyssey's great. I can't wait. I can't wait for what they do next, because I'm really hoping that they're like, fuck it, we'll make an Odyssey 2. Like they did it with Galaxy, so I'm really hoping they do it with Odyssey. Because...
If they can make just Odyssey but with more levels, I'm in.
Yes.
I'm in.
Yes.
No, I definitely agree.
Show us what other
look
games
forward to
other
the
than Dark
DLC.
So other than that, and I think actually Turnip posted this, and actually it's a really tough one because this came out this year as well. Yakuza 0 came out this year as well.
Good ass game.
Yakuza 0 was great. And I'll read Turnip's description because I think it's actually pretty good. It's a good way to describe it. At its core, this game is about beating people up, and somehow it has become this pure fountain of weirdness and tomfoolery. It's like a super serious crime soap opera mixed with the holy grail of absurdity, and should be played by everyone in the world. And I completely agree.
I also agree.
As a fervent supporter of Yakuza and the Yakuza series, Yakuza 0 is great. It's probably, once again, in my top 3 Yakuza games. I think it's probably actually my number 2. Number 1 for me, I think, is 5. And I know people are like, I don't know about that. I really loved 5. 5 was great. I streamed 5 all the way through. You guys understand why I loved 5. For me, it's sort of a toss-up between 4 and 0. I think they both have great pluses and minuses. I think the awesome thing about 0 is that it gave us a glimpse into the future for Yakuza, on the PS4. Because obviously, when 5 came out, a lot of people were like, man, 5 came out after the PS4 came out.
Yep.
And Ishin came out in Japan. And they said they weren't going to bring Ishin over. So a lot of people were concerned that 5 was the end of the line. No more Yakuza. We weren't going to get mainline Yakuza games in the US anymore. And when they announced 0, I was ecstatic. I didn't know what to do with myself because I was like, I have to wait for this game to come out. This game that I love to death to come out. And when it did finally come out, I played the hell out of it. Did I stream 0? I forget.
Yes, you did all the way through.
Okay.
You did?
I was trying to remember if I streamed it all the way through or not on stream. I do remember it now because I do remember I remember right before the credit sequence, I think I was tearing up a little bit on stream actually. Because I loved that game. It didn't, as I said, I think I personally, just because of the way I loved how 5's story developed, I like 5 better. But I think Yakuza 0 was a fantastic entry in the series, and I can't wait for 6. I have the premium edition on pre-order with the fucking cups. Because I will be drinking some Suntory scotch while playing that game for y'all when that comes out early this year.
6 is the first one that was developed solely for PS4, right? Because I know
no. Ishin was Ishin was first.
Ishin was first? Okay, because
Yeah,
I know
Ishin was first. It never came out in the US, unfortunately.
Because I know Yakuza 0 was
No, it didn't.
was a PS3 port.
Oh. Yeah, no. Ishin was the one they announced at the launch of the PS4.
Yep.
Because it's the one that takes place in feudal Japan. We never got the release here in the U.S. Unfortunately, I like have this little bit of hope in the back of my head that like they're going to release it in the U.S. I know they're not.
No
I know.
way.
I would just kill for just a basic like text translation. Like for fuck's sake, you don't have to do anything special. Just give me the text translation.
There's so much text.
I tried fucking around with the demo and I don't know Japanese at all. I've lost all knowledge of it at this point.
Damn.
Anyways. Sorry, I could go on and on about that.
You could do what us Poverty Gundam fans have done because they have never translated games in a decade.
I know for a fact, Brandon, that there is a guide out there that does translate all the Japanese. You just need to have it like up and open on like a separate monitor or like on your phone as you play it. But it is playable if you want to do that. I don't.
If I did that, I'd have to do it on stream.
Yeah, but that is that is an option.
Yeah, it's here. it's here. Oh, jeez. All right. Well, let me move on because otherwise I could talk about this all day. Another game that got nominated for Console Game of the Year, and I think Right actually nominated it.
Right.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about, not Yakuza Game of the Year. Another game which I actually also would put in my console like top 3 or 5 of the year was Persona 5. Speaking of 5.
Was good.
Persona 5 was great. I loved it a lot. And to be fair, and I'm going to preface this, of course, because I'm going to get oohs all over the fucking place. But I did not enter the Persona universe until Persona 4 Golden on the Vita. It was one of the first games I got for the Vita.
You really shouldn't feel bad about that because, like,
a lot of people's first Personas was 4.
No, I know, but people give shit for people saying that, so that's why I'm prefacing that. Although apparently there were people that started on Persona 5, which I think is probably not the worst thing for them to start off on.
Going back to 3 is going to be rough.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to 3 at some point. I think I own a copy of it for the PS2.
Play the PSP version.
The PSP version?
Yes.
I have a Vita TV, so if it works on the Vita TV, I could stream that at some point.
Okay.
Portable is definitely the better version, not because of the multiple character thing, but mostly because they took the gameplay aspects of 4 and integrated them into 3. So, like, being able to control your teammates.
Yeah, the PS2 versions of Persona 3 has...
They also made the whole equipment settings easier to understand because on Persona 3 you had multiple weapon types.
Yep.
It was slashing, piercing, and blunt.
Yes.
Okay.
Strike, slash, and pierce.
Right. So I think they did away with that in the portable version.
No, they didn't. They just made it so you could only equip one-handed swords.
Right.
But the different damage types still exist.
Right. But it just made things far easier to adapt with because a major flaw, I think, in Persona 3 is the fact that since you can't control your teammates...
It's entirely AI-based.
Right. It often ended with you being put into situations out of your control without necessarily needing to be put into those situations in the first place.
Yep. I remember one specific instance of Persona 3 on my PS2 where I was fighting a boss in the tower and no one had anything to damage it. They were all like resistant to all of my different attacks. So my party members, instead of just doing that reduced damage, wouldn't do shit. And I was like, why? Why am I the only one who's attacking? And they wouldn't do anything, and it was a nightmare. But the PSP version, you can control your teammates directly. And that's the most important thing. Makes the game like way more playable. Especially after you've played 4 and 5.
Okay. Well, then I guess maybe I'll have to try that out at some point for sure. But I definitely considered it one of the better definitely one of the top like 3 or 4 console games this year.
Persona 5 is like one of the best JRPGs that come out in 2017. Yeah, I think
that's a fair assessment.
That's free. But
It's for your real
If
estate.
if I have any complaints about the PS2 to PSP transition, it would be the fact that they did away with the moving around and the cutscenes in favor of the simpler,
like the more like VN style stuff. I didn't care.
Right. I mean, it bothered me a little bit because I think a huge thing that of what brought me into Persona, for Persona 3 example,
Yeah.
was the first awakening cutscene.
Yeah.
But that's another topic in itself, so let's continue.
Yeah, let's continue. We can have a Persona podcast at some point. I'm
Hell
sure.
yeah.
Anyways, also the sort of the last, just to cap off the console game of the year, the one that did end up winning the VGX Game of the Year awards was Breath of the Wild, and I think a lot of people agree that Breath of the Wild was absolutely fantastic. I still don't consider like a lot of the things that people consider flaws in the game. Like I don't know. People are all about like they think that the destructed or the breakable weapons is annoying. But one thing I would strongly advise if you're a fan of the game, give a listen. I know I posted in chat the other day. Give a listen to the Nintendo Power Podcast. They started doing a podcast called the Nintendo Power Podcast. It's literally, they're like, we want to resurrect Nintendo Power, so we're doing it, and they made a podcast. It's available wherever you normally get podcasts. It's on Google Music, it's on Apple, it's on normal podcast places. They did a full interview, a full like hour-long interview with Aonuma and the other gentleman who was the lead developer on the game. And they talk about how the different decisions they made in game choice. Like, it was one of those podcasts that you really have to listen to because it really gave some really great insight to how they designed the game. I can't, I don't have words. Like, it was amazing to listen to, and I strongly suggest it because it talked about things that people were like, these were terrible things in the game. And they're like, no, but in reality, here's why we made the game development decision that we did when we made it. And it was like, holy shit, like, they answered some questions that you wouldn't have thought to get an answer from developers in a modern era.
Are we talking about the one with Fuji Bayashi?
I think so.
And Aonuma?
Yeah, it was they've only made one Nintendo Power podcast so far.
Okay, then yeah.
Strongly suggest giving it a listen. It's on YouTube. I'll post the link actually in chat. It's an hour long, the whole podcast is. But about 40 minutes of it is dedicated specifically to Breath of the Wild.
I think this was also where they discussed with Miyamoto about their hiring process lately.
No, that was on a different podcast.
Yep.
That was somewhere else. I did remember them talking about that. I remember seeing that somewhere, but that was in a different podcast actually. But yeah, do give a listen to the Nintendo Power podcast if you haven't yet about Breath of the Wild, because it's great. I'm really hoping that they follow through and actually make more episodes. I think it had, how many views does it have on YouTube right now? They have like they have over 100,000 views on YouTube, which is great for a podcast. And then, as I said, there's they have it on Amazon and Google Music and all that fun stuff. But anyways, so that was console game of the year.
Yes.
Which was what? Did we have a decision on that?
No, we're not.
I want to say it was
decision.
Yakuza 0.
I mean, I could say it's Yakuza 0.
I'll say I like Yakuza.
I mean, we talked about it the most.
If we
talked
want
about it the most, right?
If we want to talk about a game that was just console only, I'd say Yakuza 0 would be probably the one.
It's probably also, I was gonna say it's Mario Odyssey, but I could talk about Yakuza 0.
I almost wanted, like, if we were doing a Giant Bomb podcast thing, I almost was gonna be like, we should have done a Nintendo Switch game of the year and then a console game of the year that's not Nintendo Switch.
Fair.
I don't know.
If I was to exclude Nier, I'd have to go with Zelda by virtue of being the only console game I played this year.
Fair. Oh yeah, did I didn't.
And even then, I've barely played it.
Fair.
I have.
What did you? Yeah, forget it. What did you list, Brovia? You listed Nier Automata.
Yeah.
Talk before we go away from it, because I did kind of gloss over it. I unfortunately, I don't know why I glossed over it. I guess maybe just because I did by accident. I haven't played Nier Automata.
It's good.
No. It's not for lack of not wanting to play. It's just I have a giant backlog. And
that's fine.
Games that are like full-on single-player experiences for me, like in my time at the moment, are a thing that really is just hard to fit in. Like the reason why I was able to get Mario Odyssey done so quickly. Hold on, about to sneeze.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh, I sneezed off mic. Yes, I hit my button correctly. The reason for me being able to get Odyssey done so quickly is because there were many nights where I was laying there in bed before going to sleep, and I got like an hour and a half in.
That's fair enough.
Yep.
I mean, it took me a solid 2-3 weeks to beat Nier, because I only played for like a couple hours at a time.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, since you are the one in here that voted as your console game of the year, talk to me about Nier Automata.
Oof.
Yeah, that's about it. That's
Okay.
right.
Oh, okay.
So
Cool, fantastic.
Imagine a Yoko Taro game, but it's not actively painful to play.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna be that guy.
Yes.
Yoko Taro. What has he done? I don't know him.
Drake-
I've seen the memes. I've seen
the
all
man-
of the memes.
He's the one responsible for...
Drake, the Drakengard series,
Yeah.
Nier,
Okay. Okay.
the original. I think he worked on a couple of like older Square titles before he got the Drakengard project, but I don't remember what they
Okay.
were. But he's been a part of Square for a minute now.
Okay. I'm not trying to be. I'm being dead serious. Like I know he has this sort of cult following. He's almost like the. Would you say he's almost like the Quentin Tarantino of video game design in Japan at the moment? Like he has those sorts of games that you wouldn't think would be
I would
amazing,
no
but then
no
turns
no
out to be
not
amazing.
not
He also has the
design.
original
It's
Fusion game.
nothing to do with design because
the hell?
design wise they're trash.
Well, I mean, Tarantino's films are like some
No,
people will
no,
just say.
it's more story and characters
hell?
and themes than it is design anything.
Okay, I mean you're
Because
describing
like they said, imagine a game that's not painful to play. Like
Okay. So,
gives you an
I
idea
would
right there.
probably give that title to Suda51.
You think Suda51 is more the Tarantino at the time?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
is he?
I
So is
can
he the
agree with
Benicio
that.
del Toro? Like,
I
Yeah.
would call him Tarantino just because all he does is like very eccentric, very out there. Like that's what he thrives on.
Well,
you know?
Yoko Taro's entire thing is he really likes subverting tropes, and he's not a big fan of like happy endings.
oh, okay,
Where-
so Tarantino.
He's
That's
very-
literally Tarantino.
Yeah. Okay.
He enjoys writing bleak stories.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
like, I wouldn't say game designer just because I don't think he designs good games. I think he writes good shit.
He writes good. He barely designed the game around Automata. He literally handed all of that to Platinum and was like, make the video game part of this video game while I drink and write.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
That's pretty amazing, though. He was the background designer in Alpine Racer 2 and Time Crisis 2 for the arcades. That's pretty fantastic.
Gotta start somewhere.
That's pretty great. All right, so okay, cool. So we've officially discussed everything along the lines of console games.
Also, Donut came in with the hottest take. He says that Sonic Forces is better than Yakuza 0.
I mean, he's allowed to have an opinion that's absolutely terrible and trash, but
hottest
that's his
take-
opinion.
The hottest take of 2017.
Hottest garbage take of 2017.
Woo!
Sorry, Donut, I love you. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to the category that I actually enjoy putting in all. Well, this is the second most favorite category for me to put in because it's not a generic category. I put a category out there of what best of or worst of would you like to contribute to the awards and what wins that award. I think this is great because I think it gives everybody sort of a voice in the process of us doing this, and so I think it does get some great things out there. And the one that I think I kind of put, and I think a lot of people did echo this. Actually, I didn't realize it after the fact. So of course, worst company of the year.
Yay.
And we get to go back to EA. I mean, so remember when we first did the first season of the VGZ cast?
Yep,
Remember our favorite segment of the VGZ cast?
yep,
Not
What
really,
did
no.
EA fuck up this week?
yep.
So the EA fucked up this year, and I think it's kind of funny that we all of a sudden out of nowhere. It was funny because earlier this year when we relaunched the podcast, we didn't put that segment back in because at the beginning of this year, outside of Andromeda being a mess, EA really wasn't shooting itself in the foot that hard. and then they doubled down on it like real hard. And so that was great. I think they easily earned worst company of the year.
I'm not shooting myself in the foot hard enough.
So
Bungie learned pretty hard from them afterwards.
I don't know what I can say about EA this year that hasn't already been said for other places and other, except that they are easily the biggest disappointment in gaming ever.
In 2017?
No.
Ever?
Ever?
I don't know, man. Ever's a long time. Gaming has about a 35 to 40 year history now.
No, ever. For
Okay.
the amount of studios they've ruined, for the amount of games they've destroyed, for the absolute quantity that they have taken in and said, no, you have to do it our way or not at all. Like, there is no company as bad and as destructive when it comes to video games as EA Games.
Yeah.
Honestly. They now hold the champion of...
Oh, now this motherfucker's gonna fight me.
We're going to give you money to ruin your product.
Yeah,
I would
go
clap
ahead.
for you.
Take a sip.
I would clap. But unfortunately, I have to have my push to talk key pushed down to talk.
Yeah.
So I'll clap for you on
It's your
the side
elbow.
of that.
What?
But I agree with what you're saying.
Clap for you.
I'll also, I think a lot of people did echo this. Broviet, you put in the most blown the fuck out award.
Yes.
You said Mass Effect Andromeda being completely forgettable and the whole Battlefront 2 fiasco leading to legislation being drafted against loot boxes. I also think there's also a little more to that too with like what Deadpool is saying where they've killed off a bunch of studios this year.
Well,
And
yes.
it's just
Games,
bad. It's just real
studios,
bad.
That wasn't
entire
coming to mind.
monetary practices forever
Yeah.
tarnished because of them being entirely too greedy.
Hey,
No, I definitely agree.
EA
I would have put EA up for the award of being the heroes of the loot box because they killed them. They killed loot boxes. If anything
I do
happens,
it terribly. It's great.
if
In my
any,
defense for being blown the fuck out, EA
like
shutting
to put
EA shutting
Bungie in
everything
second
down doesn't really translate to getting blown the fuck out. In my
that's
defense.
true. That's true.
That's fair. That's fair. Floppy also most botched, mishandled released. I nominate Mass Effect Andromeda, a AAA franchise that was sent out to die, and Diet did something like this is unfathomable to me. They could have and should have tried to in post to fix it, but they just didn't care, and that's mind-boggling to me.
Yep.
That's a quote from Floppy there. Deadpool, you posted best of publishers, Digital Devolver, and worst of EA. Games Digital Devolver knows what their customers want, EA doesn't, which is, I think, a very succinct way of putting it. Rook says that we should get Brightside back to do the EA CEO bit, and I think that actually might happen in 2018 if EA goes on its current trajectory.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna bring up something that I brought up before we started streaming. There's a video series I watch on YouTube called Death of a Game, and this guy did his latest video on Star Wars: The Old Republic, which had a lot to do with EA. And one of the things he was researching was, apparently, when all of this shit started getting worse at EA, the CEO from the mid-90s came back right after they made Mass Effect 2. And that's kind of where all of EA went downhill.
That's pretty amazing.
Timing-wise.
So I don't mix my work stuff with gaming with VGZ at all. But I will say, I think I mentioned it at one point. We did have the CEO, not the CEO, a C-level executive of EA join my previous employer, and he was fired about less than a year later.
What happened?
Stuff happened. I'm not going to go into details.
Right.
But I'm just going to say that happened, and I think it's pretty funny. Because when I heard about that the guy was coming from EA, that something bad was going to happen, and something bad did, and now I work for a different company, so I'm not going to talk about it.
Lo and behold.
Right, yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's great. I think it's one of those stories that'll transcend time, because 2017 will definitely be remembered as the year that fucking EA came back to form and actually decided it wanted to be the terrible company it was. Let's see. Other best of, worst of contributed. Donut contributed best game that should be way worse than it is. Utopia. He also has it for. Damn. He also kind of nominates it for our next category, which I'll talk about in a bit. But he says, but the game works double time and how good of an entry RPG and fun title it is, despite the lead up to its release showing little. And I agree with him. The game was great. It's actually quite memorable. Unfortunately, it wasn't memorable when we were doing handheld and mobile discussions, but it was. It was definitely a game that I think should be noted a little bit.
Agreed.
Turnup posted the fastest transition from success to douchebaggery award goes to PUBG for deluding themselves into thinking they invented battle royale games, making the most masturbatory, self-congratulating trailer I've ever seen, and calling their company the PUBG Corp. Now, in their defense, calling themselves the PUBG Corp makes sense if they don't make another game. Now, if they make another game, calling themselves the PUBG Corp is probably bad. But them being purchased by Tencent, I think, is sort of the thing that I think I actually agree with Donut's argument here. Tencent is growing in the video game market. And Tencent is a really big Chinese ISP cell phone provider. And they're buying up small companies, but they have the money to sort of go into big companies. So that's a future episode, I think, a discussion, but
yeah, see, I want to just echo Turnip's statement on one of these things real quick. Because,
sure.
What's his name? Jeff from the guy who's PlayerUnknown. Is his name Jeff?
I think his name is...
His name is unknown.
No, his name is Brandon.
Brandon, yeah. He before Tencent made an official announcement on it, was very much, yeah, I'm fine with people making whatever. And then Tencent made the announcement about Fortnite of, we're looking for copyright bullshit. And it's like, no. You got fucked over in a contract. You don't fuck over the entire industry because you get fucked over in a contract. That's how you fuck up everything, including for yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. I think that's a fair statement.
That's why I want to just echo what Turnip said about them being fuckwits, because they made a good thing, whatever all their other shit, but like them trying to get back at an entire industry because they couldn't figure out contract law is fucking retarded.
What do you mean?
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I think that's pretty reasonable reaction.
I think it's funny coming from a Chinese company, actually, but that's a whole different thing.
Oh God, yes. It's irony is not enough to say how dumb they are.
But let's move on. There's some more best of worst ofs here that I think are worth talking about. Venom voted on best butt in gaming. He called the link out for best butt in gaming.
The same year Nier Automata came out.
I don't.
That's an objective falsehood.
I mean, you can take it up with him. He's the one that nominated it and voted for it.
Okay, that's fair.
He also made a OSW review podcast joke, which I won't repeat here because I don't think anybody will get the worst award joke. Let's see. Best clone of Dark Souls by ISO. He said Neo.
Yeah.
Worst plane crash to come out of a video game launch, Cliffy B and Lawbreakers.
Oh, man. This is within a year of Battleborn. Like,
yeah. Well, it's Cliffy B. Anyways, Chibi posted actually quite a bit of a thing here. His worst of was definitely about mobile gaming monetization and then just monetization in general, really. I think everybody can kind of agree with that.
Yep.
He said, best comeback of a nearly aborted franchise. And he was actually talking to me earlier about this, so I definitely I want to read this out. It's going to take a minute, but he definitely made a couple of really good points here. He said, best comeback of a nearly aborted franchise. And he nominated The Evil Within 2.
Yep.
The first game was a contractually obligated mess created by a director tired of getting stuck in the genre being demanded from them and given limited time and resources. The Evil Within was a mess of ideas and plotlines spackled over by awkward DLC and pleas to suspend disbelief. For all intents and purposes, that should have been dead. The announcement of a sequel was a mild shock, but having spent some time with the game and watched the Super Best Friends podcast LP of it, the Evil Within 2 is just so much better. It takes the Makami blueprint, as well as many Warren tropes, and runs with them, making fun of itself in a very self-aware ways along the way. The mechanics are refined and streamlined where needed, and they actually work this time. The sloppy plot holes are filled in after the fact, and the main character is lots more relatable, rather than trying to brute force us to care about the object of this quest, and he coughs and says Fallout 4. We instead get to see how much he cares, and also because the player is invested in him, that motivation extends to us. Also, it's pretty metal. So, I can argue what he's saying. Well, not argue, but I think his point makes sense. That, and he explained this to me earlier, and he turned me onto it a bit. I mean, I'm not a big like jump scare horror game fan, and I'm under the impression that's generally kind of like what Evil Within sort of is. It's just not my cup of tea game wise, but I can appreciate art. I can appreciate games.
Yeah.
So for him, the way he was talking about it, he's very passionate in the way that he was talking about it, and so I can understand his vote. And yeah, it sounds like a game that definitely sort of brought back the game before it was going to just die. So that's pretty cool.
Well, I think one of the big differences is that Mikami didn't actually direct the sequel. He was only like a producer, where I think he actually directed the original, and that's why it was kind of like a huge mess.
Okay, that's fair. Requiem actually also posted Best Dark Souls clone Neo.
Yeah,
that's actually pretty funny that two people voted on the same. Actually, usually we don't get the same best of, worst of, except for like obvious things. So that one's actually kind of funny. He also gave he also made a QWOP award to getting over it with Bennett Foddy. This game is simultaneously the most frustrating piece of shit ever, while also being very zen-like. If you can get a state into flow with this game, it really is fun and unique because how crazy simple it actually is. Fighting with a crappy physics system is the core mechanic. It rewards patience, and to those who remain calm and serene when they lose all their progress at the 90th time. Which I think is echoed in the comment that was made in the indie game of the year comment. Let's see. Potate said, worst boss fights of 2017 was Metro Samus Returns. He didn't think that the bosses were very good.
I can agree with the Diggernaut fight. I didn't like that fight very much. I didn't think it was a very well designed fight. But
please. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I mean, like, well, because like, Samus Returns is weird because most of the game is boss fights, but it's a retread of the same couple of fights over and over again, and they're fun enough, I guess. But like, I don't know. It was weird. It's weird how they handled it. And I kind of liked it, but I kind of didn't at the same time. I don't know. I wouldn't say that it's the worst, but I wouldn't say it's the best either. I'm trying to think of something that was actively worse, but I'm hard pressed to think of anything right now. Maybe if it sits in my brain for a bit, I'll think of something. But
that's fair.
I can kind of agree with that.
Okay. And then he also put in best MMO of 2017 was a tie between Warframe and Path of Exile. Which I think is kind of funny considering this is Potate.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of funny considering that neither of those games came out this year.
Well, ongoing games, would you?
Yeah, I know. No, games sorry.
As a service.
I was trying to make a humor. No. I was trying to make a humor joke there.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. But for a quick second on Warframe, they released something this year that genuinely was basically another game in it, and it added so much content to it and added so much gameplay to it that, like, I would almost say, like, if they had released that by itself, it could have matched Destiny's amount of content, which is not a lot to say, but it's still pretty significant game.
Fair. And then for me, I had one other nomination. I had best multiplayer game of the year, which I give to Golf It. I have probably put about 80 hours into playing custom maps on Golf It with a group of friends.
$80 into playing custom maps.
80 hours.
$80 hairs.
80 hours. Game is great. I also like golf with friends a little bit better game wise, But the custom maps that Golf It has are like so much better because obviously they don't have custom maps on Golf with Friends yet, which kind of sucks because I think Golf with Friends has the better game engine built, but Golf It is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And I definitely look forward to playing it every time that I play it because it's fun. It's a great game. It's a lot of fun, and I think you all should go play it if you haven't already. It's real cheap. It's like so much fun. We could probably get a game night going with VGZ to play. Although I'm sure everybody and their mother will probably beat each other up over it.
Final Fantasy 14 is not the MMO of the year because Lee sucks.
And that's a hot take from Moto.
No, it's actually like the common take for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, it felt like Final Fantasy 14 kind of fell apart this year a bit. Like it was doing really well.
No, it's part of the cycle.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fair. All right, so finally we've come to the last two categories of the night. The first is the game of the year that should be remembered, but will probably be forgotten, but really shouldn't be because it's a solid game that didn't get enough respect this year. So we decided to make a whole award dedicated to it to make sure it gets some sort of recognition.
Yep.
Or for short,
Oh no.
GOTY, TSBRB, WP, BF, BR, SBB, IA, SGTGG, ERTY, SWT, DTMA, WADTIT, MS, SIG, SSOR.
Yes.
If you have to say every letter as if it's its own word, is it still shorter?
Yes, it actually was. No, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. But anyways, let's talk about some games, because this is where I think I enjoy giving this, because I think a lot of the time everybody gets caught up in this whole, what's the game of the year, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, at the end of the year, there are a lot of games that come out. And there are a lot of games that I don't think get as much recognition as they should. And I think that's great. I think more companies should really more podcasts should do shit like this, because honestly a lot of the time their like top 5 lists are all about the fucking same anyways, so might as well give some fucking variety. But anyways, let's just go down. I think I'm just gonna like highlight most of everybody's, because I think the cool thing is, once again, the diversity of picks I think is really great. Funnily enough, actually, Brightside nominated Yakuza 0, which is great because I think Yakuza 0 is probably a Game of the Year candidate. Brooke nominated Ruiner Ace, denoting that the soundtrack, keen visuals, tight and demanding combat, it falls flat in the gameplay originality, but DLC and expansions may have depth where it seemed lacking. So that's actually an interesting vote. Donut actually voted on something that I probably would have put on this if I didn't pick something else, for Puyo Puyo Tetris. Because if you haven't played Puyo Puyo Tetris and you own a Switch, just like Golf Story, what are you doing with yourself? It's incorrect is the answer to the question.
It's kind of expensive for what it is. That's my only reason for that.
But it's Tetris. You buy Tetris, everybody buys Tetris.
$60.
Incoming hot take, I don't like Tetris.
Now that's a hot take, sir.
It's because you're too young for Tetris.
You too young? Bro, I'm like... I had a Game Boy. I actually did not own Tetris. I didn't own Tetris on Game Boy, though. I owned Kirby Star Stacker. Now, that game's my shit. I'll fight anyone in Star Stacker. See me online.
Puyo Tetris is $40.
Oh, is it 40 now?
It's been 40.
It was always 40.
It was always 40.
I don't think it was ever full price, yeah.
And wasn't Puyo Puyo Tetris also on PS4 or something?
Yeah, they also released a copy on PS4, and the PS4 copies are $30.
I would pay like $20 for Tetris.
Okay.
But you're paying for Tetris and Puyo Puyo, so both of them together...
Yeah, you're getting 2 games for one.
Both of them together equals out to 40.
Dr. Mario should also be $40, just saying.
Yeah, anyways. Turnip posted Ever Oasis, actually, as his game of the year that should be remembered, etc. Exploration and town management game with a focus on the slow rebuilding of life and prosperity in a lifeless desert. I would describe it as a huge cooking pot of game ideas. Most work, some are kind of weird, but overall the dish is exquisite.
I can agree with that.
That's pretty cool. I don't know if Callie's ever going to show up. I wonder if I should read his nominations.
Well, at this point...
Hollow Knight is his nomination.
It's been an hour and a half, yeah.
I know. He voted for Hollow Knight. It's crazy the amount of style this game has. Speaking as someone who's played a ton of Metroidvania-type games, this might actually be the best one. The combat is crazy solid. Each area is distinct. All the upgrades matter. It's so good. Deadpool, you voted for Battle Chasers Night War.
For which one is this?
This is the
games that'll not be remembered. Yeah. This is a game from a graphic comic book artist in the early 2000s, I guess.
Excuse me.
Okay.
And he was like, I want to make a video game. And so he stopped doing his comic and fucked off to make this video.
What?
It was.
You're cutting out.
You kind of did the whole like going back in time thing.
1 sec.
Okay. We'll come back to you then. So take a second, we'll come back to you. Putin voted for VGZ 0, saying it's how you make a prequel. I agree. Floppy nominated Golf Story because even after only watching, which I disagree with, you have to go play it. You should go fucking play it. NHL 18 is Venom's choice because he plays NHL games like a derp. Hey, he's not here. I get to make jokes.
Hell yeah.
Hey. You back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, talk about Battle Chasers Night War.
It's a classic RPG with really, really good art. It's coming to Switch. It's already on everything else. It's not that expensive. I think it's like $30 at full price. I got it for $20. The gameplay is really solid because of the combat. Like, you have your MP and HP like most RPGs, but then like in combat you have basic attacks that build up a overcharge meter that you can use. So you don't have to like use your special skills all the time, and you could just use these basic attacks to build up charge for your special skills.
Interesting.
The art is like the artist literally animated everything himself.
Oh,
so that's why it took a while to get this out, but it's here, it's complete, it's not very expensive, and it's, if you want an RPG with a decent-ish story and good voice acting and good characters, definitely pick it up. Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Sorry, just answering him. Yeah, Switch ports soon. It's on Xbox One and PS4.
Oh, okay. So it is on all the.
It's on everything. Yeah.
Everything. Yeah. All right. Continuing. ISO said Tales of Berseria, strongest cast of characters, gameplay mechanics, and story to date for the series that didn't involve to quote, "We're all friends. Let's save the world, guys." Quote unquote cliche. Most won't play it because of the stigma associated with Tales of Zestria or RPGs in general, and will be forgotten. That's probably a fair assessment for those sorts of ideas. Chibi is in line with his discussion from the previous category, did say The Evil Within 2. So that's probably a fair assessment. Gradients, Requiem said, A Hat in Time. Personally, this game single-handedly showed me that 3D platformers can still be pulled off in the modern era. It has charm, a great style, wonderful gameplay, but likely forgotten simply because it's a niche game at this point in gaming. Outside of Mario's 3D platformers certainly aren't loved anymore. With Mario Odyssey coming out this year, merely a month or two after Hat, this game will likely be forgotten. Is Broviate still here? Oh, Broviate dropped. Okay,
Broviate
dropped.
I don't think Hat in Time is going to be forgotten in the same way that Tales of Berseria will be. I think Tales of Berseria is definitely going to be, in a couple of years, forgotten by the mass. Everybody.
Of course, it's a Tales game.
Yeah, but
yeah.
I think Hat in Time is something that's going to be remembered for a while, just because look, platformers can exist and are good.
Well, I think it'll probably remain relevant for a while as just something like a comparison to make between like Yooka-Laylee, where it's like, well, here's Yooka-Laylee and here's Yooka-Laylee's ideas done properly, and it's like, oh, I guess the 3D platformer, it can work in the modern era.
Yeah.
Especially with like Mario Odyssey as well, like doing very well for itself.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think maybe Mario Odyssey having the popularity that it has, maybe it'll cause people to go out and look for similar games.
Hey, Donkey Kong 64 2. When?
I agree. Broviate, who dropped off, voted for Prey, the 2017 one, obviously.
Oh my god, that should win.
Quote, I really enjoyed it as a System Shock-like game for the modern era. It was a 10 out of 10 masterpiece, I liked exploring the station a lot.
Oh no, why?
I think it'll be forgotten. Absolutely.
I already forgot about it, and I bought
I forgot about it like a month later, and I still installed.
And I bought it launch day, and I already forgot about it.
Yeah.
It was good. I liked it. It's definitely forgettable.
Yeah, that's fair. 20XX for the PC was Big L's or Protate's vote. I followed this game from its early access days and it's grown into a truly enjoyable hybrid of Mega Man X and roguelite mechanics. And I agree. If you haven't played that game, I personally haven't, but I've watched others play it. And the game is quite enjoyable. It is definitely your Mega Man X. It's definitely in your Mega Man X level of thing. If you guys haven't looked at it, I definitely suggest it.
Excuse me.
Twice.
Anyways, Buzzard voted for Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. I actually kind of agree with him if it wasn't for the fact that they might make a sequel at some point.
Was it successful?
Yeah.
It was super successful.
It sold hotcakes.
Oh, shit. Well, good. Congrats to them, then. Shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's all right. Well, that's fair, then. I don't know, because I thought for sure that was...
People gave it a lot of flack for it being a simpler version of XCOM, but it was well done, you know?
Oh,
yeah, no, I agree. I'm going to pick it up at some point. I just didn't want to pick it up on release because I'm not a big Rabbids fan, but I've heard great things about the gameplay. It is on sale
right now on the eShop store.
I don't buy digital if it comes in physical. Which, by the way, just to throw it out there no, I'll remember that for later. Never mind. But I don't. If the game is available in physical, I buy physical. It's just how I roll. Deadpool, you know that. And for my game, I had 2 games, but in reality, Yakuza 0 is going to be remembered fondly, hopefully. Is Kimiko for the Switch. I think I streamed this game. Pretty sure I did. It is a really cool little 2D action adventure, not 2D action adventure, 2D action game that was released for the Switch. It was a Japanese original release. It was actually indie developed in Japan, and then was released in the US eventually. Game is great. If you haven't fucking played it, it's like $5 on the Switch, I think. It's not even. I think it's $4.50. Go fucking play Kimiko. It's amazing. It's great. The game's fantastic.
I think I broke this fight.
Okay.
Nice.
Oh no. That's fine. Continue. I'm sorry.
Or say Kamiko. I mispronounced. I apologize. I will post the link because I definitely 100%. I picked it up on release. It's $5. Thank you, Donut. It's $5 on the Switch. It's a quick little game, but it's one of those sorts of games that I think you could speed. Basically, people would speed run because it's such a quick game. It's very quick. It's all about it's all about the Shinto stuff, and it's really cool. 100%. If you haven't played it, go buy it if you have a Switch.
Oh, I remember this game. I saw it on the Japanese eShop. I was interested in it.
And I streamed it from beginning to end. Kamiko.
No,
Kamiko.
what is the type of game?
It's a 2D shooter.
Oh,
but it's not a fast, frenetic paced type of game.
Yeah.
And it also doesn't. It has some non-shooting parts. It has
if you like that, everyone I've heard from it loves it. But yeah, not for me personally. But it's very good.
It's $5. Go buy it. Anyways, I would say the acronym again, but that was the game of the year that should be remembered, but probably be forgotten, but really shouldn't be because this is all a game that again.
I'm gonna throw in the last second because I didn't fill it out. I'm gonna say Samus Metroid Returns will probably be forgotten, mostly because it came out in the ass end of the 3DS's lifespan. And everyone's too busy salivating over a JPEG of the next Metroid Prime game.
No, it's because it came out between Metroid Prime 4 and Metroid Federation Forces.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably fair.
It's one that is highly sought after and one that was shit all over. So,
mm-hmm.
All right. So now we've come to it. The VGZ Game of the Year 2017. And I mean, it's a surprise. I don't think it's a surprise to anyone, but we all know what's going to win, right? Dora the Explorer saves the Ice Princess. Yeah, everybody can go home.
Every year,
we're done. Every year.
It always wins.
I seriously think Hello Kitty Online got gypped. I mean,
I mean, come on, everybody loves her. Okay.
I don't know, man. Hello Kitty Online didn't have the. I can't believe our static fell apart for Hello Kitty Online. I really wanted to finish those really high end Hello Kitty based raids.
Yeah, the Hello Kitty raids. You're right. I'm sorry that the clan didn't stay together for long enough for you to complete that. But no, I think this year's nominations were dominated by a very small amount of games. I think that's pretty. I think it's pretty easy to see why. The game quality this year on the top end, I think, sort of put a gap in between games you would consider sort of the best of the year compared to the stuff that's a little under. So, that being said, I'm trying to think of how we go about this. We didn't really do much planning here. We did come up with what sort of everybody sort of mentioned. So we have sort of a top 5, and that was top 5 because of people picking games and actually having sort of a consensus
vote. It was kind
vote.
of a... I mean, can we do the outliers first? The honorable
yeah,
mentions?
let's talk about the honorable mentions first. You keep saying the word outliers.
I don't mean that word. It's just the word that keeps coming to my mind.
Okay.
Not that one.
I think so. Gradient's picking What Remains of Edith Finch as his one of his pick of game of the year, and I think that definitely is a bit of an outlier, for sure.
Yeah.
I think we did have a vote, and Chibi actually posted a vote. First for Wolfenstein: The New Colossus, which he says, "Holy shit, does the game go places? The story gets batshit. The characterization is strong, but the shooting leaves something to be desired." Which I think a lot of people actually had that opinion of it. And he also voted for Sonic Mania, which I think is a vote that definitely is on the definitely supposed to be there.
Yeah.
I definitely could see it being in the argument for Game of the Year, but it's definitely in like the bottom portion of the list, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Shit.
ISO voted for Doki Doki Literature Club. He wanted to see if others actually voted for it. That was the reason he voted for it. God damn it, ISO.
No, there were a few, but it didn't make top 5.
It did not make the top 5, no.
I was surprised at how many people did vote for it, but...
Why didn't you go up?
Putin voted for Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Because of titties, let's be honest.
I mean, probably because of robot waifu tits. I don't know. But the Nier Automata is also on that list.
Whoa. Xenoblade's okay game. I haven't played
it.
But
I played a little bit of it.
It's you haven't played it?
I've played a little bit of it. Okay, fine.
I've played it. I liked it. I thought it was fun.
There's definitely
from what I played so far.
There's definitely more than robot tits. But there definitely are robot tits. So take that as you will.
A lot of robot tits.
Only two.
Donut also
but they're very large.
Donut also voted for Sonic Mania.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think Sonic Mania was really good.
What do you mean, really?
I don't know. Well, I mean, obviously, but I don't know if I would say it's. I don't know. I think that's all opinion, but I don't really.
He says,
yeah, it is.
So Donut says Sonic Mania is both an amazing game and also a test in proving my love for a series just and right.
Okay,
Donut.
He should have put Sonic Forces, the better title. That came out.
Of course, Sonic Forces was the better title.
Yeah, because well, let's see. Easy metric. Which one has Shadow in it? Sonic Forces. Oh, that's the better game.
Yeah. Okay. And also, finally, Rook voted for PUBG, which I wouldn't have necessarily put in my game of the year if you were specific. I would have put in my game of the year if we weren't strictly going for what we thought was like best game of the year, but we thought was maybe the most like impactful game of the year. I actually like PUBG quite a bit. I know we were sort of talking joke about it earlier, but the game itself gets the things right it needs to get right, except for the fact that it's a version 1.0 of a game that currently really probably should have stayed in beta a little bit longer, but they really wanted to get the release by the end of the year.
Yep.
Also, they partnered with Microsoft, so...
Yeah, well, that's a whole different thing. So... Is there any other outlier / honorable mention that I missed? I don't think so. I think everybody else sort of voted along the same lines.
So we're good.
I did. Well, yeah, Dora already won, so I don't know why we're actually continuing the podcast. But we can go from the bottom up. So, sort of fifth voted on as by you, Yakuza 0.
Yeah.
In the Game of the Year conversation. I think that's a fair assessment. Like I said earlier, probably my second favorite Yakuza game, and I think a lot of people really liked it. I thought as a jumping off point into the new generation of Yakuza, or new generation of consoles for Yakuza, I think it was a great starting point.
Yeah.
So I think that's...
Yakuza 0 is a good-ass game. It's
yes.
the best Yakuza to come out this year. For sure. Yes. Well, because Kiwami also came out this year.
Oh, that's right. Kiwami did come out this year.
And it's definitely much better than Kiwami.
No, I definitely agree with that assessment, not having played Kiwami yet, but from just like, I don't think games could really get better than... I don't think a Yakuza game this year could have gotten better than Yakuza 0. Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, I just recently finished Kiwami on Christmas. Because I bought it and I forgot that it happens during Christmas. So I was happy holidays, me. And then I beat it.
How smart of you.
And,
that's cool.
I don't know. It definitely is a remake of Yakuza 1. That's for sure. But it's still fun. But it's Yakuza 0 definitely brings a lot more, new to the series. And it's just overall much more enjoyable. Especially with, the split protagonists between Majima and Kiryu. And and how their separate stories eventually collide.
Learning the story of Majima is just so good. Hot take: there's too many damn Yakuza games. Callie, that take is actually not hot. That is incorrect. Is actually what that take is, sir. There aren't enough damn Yakuza games.
It's definitely hard. Because I've endeavored to get into the Yakuza series, and I played through all of 3, and I did a lot of side content in 3, and I was just burnt out. So I never bothered playing through 4 and 5, and I had to return the PS3 I was borrowing.
Quick side note: if Fist of the North Star is as good as we think it's going to be, how hard is that going to be on the 2018 Game of the Year lists? Because holy shit, that thing looks amazing.
Well, it depends.
It looks good, but Yakuza 6 comes out next year.
That depends.
Man, between those two,
is it getting an English release?
Why wouldn't it?
Because Ishin didn't.
Because it's Fist of the North Star?
Because it's Fist of the North Star. And
Fist of the North Star has problems always getting localized.
Time to hack your PS4s and patch it.
You only need to know 4 words. It's fine.
Yes.
Fair. But no, I think that Yakuza 0 definitely deserves to be on a Game of the Year list, and it's unfortunate that it really didn't get elsewhere. The next up on the list, which is our 4th sort of nomination for Game of the Year 2017, was Persona 5, which I voted for. Yeah. And I definitely am. I'm kind of surprised it didn't get as many votes, but I guess it did come out earlier in the year, so that kind of leads it a little bit of a thing. I loved Persona 5, and
yes,
I think it definitely was a standout for the year. So I definitely am happy it's in this list where people, at least more than myself, said that it was.
Yeah.
I gotta go back to it because I haven't played it in a long time, and I actually want to go back to it. But it's a great game. I think it definitely, from a JRPG perspective, it was the best JRPG of the year. I don't think there was really much of a contender in that respect. And it just did so many things right, including the fucking fantastic soundtrack.
It was fantastic soundtrack, the user interface, all the Persona 5. I'm gonna make up a new award right now: best menus in a video game. Persona 5. Those menus they have no business being that good. Man, that entire game is just so freaking stylish.
Sorry, I had to kick something there.
Until Yakuza Dead Souls. Oh,
I think we gotta stream that game.
The best Yakuza.
Y'all are fired. I'm gonna close VGZ after this podcast. Thank you all for being a part of the community. Fuck everybody.
Kiwami makes multiple references to Dead Souls, and that surprised the absolute hell out of me. I was like, shit.
dude, I can't like. We're not getting into that. We're not making this a Yakuza podcast. We're gonna continue.
I still haven't had an opportunity to play Persona 5.
That's crazy. You should play it.
Well, it's because my PS4 is still all the way back home.
Oh, okay.
I might be able to get it, hopefully within a week.
Just
I hope.
just get a really long fishing rod, and stand on the beach closest to Puerto Rico, and then just swing and hope you hook onto the fucking terrible garbage. Like, I don't even know what kind of shape this is. Like the back of the PS4, I hate that shit. It's plugging things into the back of my PS4 is a nightmare because of how it's shaped. I hate it.
You don't like parallelograms?
I hate them. Yeah, just hook it onto that and then reel it in, and you're good to go.
That was rude. That was pretty rude. Rude dude right there.
ISO says that this is why the static disbanded.
Yeah, man.
What is the static? Can somebody tell me?
We have
Static is a group of people that specifically go together to do raids in an MMO. And in Final 14, I was heading the static for some members of VGZ and some of my personal friends. Because we're all in the same free company.
Yes.
Or guild or whatever.
Before. Yeah, I've always been referred to like I guess just like raid groups, but I guess that makes sense to you to have one word.
I don't know if World of Warcraft uses that terminology. It might just be like a Final Fantasy 14 thing.
It's
like
called
11.
static because it's a consistent group of people. Because as opposed to just like queuing up for the raid with randoms.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Fair. Moving on, our number 3 pick is actually, I think, a little bit of a surprise to be the number 3 pick. And that was Breath of the Wild.
Good.
Wow.
I have an entire skeleton's worth of bones to pick with that game.
Jesus. Entire skeleton, you say?
Yes.
What type of skeleton is it? Anyways, I think a lot of people were surprised by Breath of the Wild. It's not a Zelda game. It has Zelda elements. And obviously, like, the beginning, middle, and end are Zelda games. But the game itself...
It takes place during the wrong time period of the story of the game, is the biggest problem I have with
it. I love when my story is 75% flashbacks.
I liked that.
But
I thought that was good.
I would have liked to do stuff with them, because
yeah,
we keep
sure.
introducing them.
I agree with that assessment. I understand what you're saying, but I think I don't know. I
don't know. That story barely even matters in Breath of the Wild. Meat of the game is fucking around with the physics in the world and surfing logs into shrines. That's how that's how I played the game. I don't know. It's everyone's difference will vary, obviously, because that's the kind of game it is.
Okay.
But
my problem with Breath of the Wild and games like Breath of the Wild is that I get too caught up doing side quest type things that I forget to finish the game, and then I never finish the game.
See, I played all of the side quests and beat the game. I actually spent about 150 hours in Breath of the Wild this year. So,
jeez.
I mean, the only thing I didn't do was get all the Korok seeds. That was the only thing I did not do in Breath of the Wild.
No reasonable human being is ever going to do that.
So what you're saying is I need to get all the Korok seeds.
Yes. Yep. There's just
two. Has already been done.
I almost did it. I got probably, I think I've got about halfway through, and I decided that I decided at the end of the day that I didn't want to.
It's not worth it.
I didn't want to, but it wasn't because I didn't want to play Breath of the Wild. That's not what I'm saying. I just didn't. Like, it was one of those things where it was like, man, I've spent a lot of hours in this game. I kind of need to play some other games that I own, because I have a backlog that's beyond long at this point.
Yep.
So I really love Breath of the Wild, and it definitely was actually my other vote for Game of the Year. So I actually didn't vote on the 2 games that ended up getting our 1 and 2 for Game of the Year. Although, to be fair, I would have voted for one of them for sure, because I think the game is amazing. I just happened to vote for Breath of the Wild because I as I said, when I booted up Breath of the Wild on my Switch that night when I got it, I knew instantly that it was going to be the game that I wanted to play for the rest of the week, for the rest of like the next couple of months, and it was the game that I played for the next couple of months because it was just that good, in my opinion.
Right.
And I definitely hope that we get a Majora's Mask-esque game in the future in the same engine using a similar concepts.
I really liked that engine. I think, if nothing else, of that game, that engine is fantastic.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I want them to craft something else in it, because no other game have I played where it's just like, yeah, you can just fucking go. Do it.
Yep. I think it's great. So that was our third nominated. The second nominated was the other Switch game that was released this year that everybody was talking about. And actually, I definitely would have voted for this being my game of the year if I didn't already vote it for console of the year. Was Super Mario Odyssey.
Hell yeah.
And I definitely agree with this pick. I think Super Mario Odyssey was absolutely fantastic and everything I wanted and didn't know that I wanted in a Mario game.
Oh, it is everything I knew I wanted in a 3D Mario.
I'm saying it is everything I wanted, I knew I wanted, and also the things that I didn't know I wanted.
That's true. That's fair. I don't know. I liked it.
Just from, like, the beginning when you're in this, like, bleak, like, white and black, like, environment that makes you go, huh, that's interesting. And then all of a sudden you're thrown into this, like, I mean, it's you know, like Callie was kind of saying earlier, you know, you're not really playing Mario for the story per se. But you kind of like, you kind of gotta like the story. Like, the story is good. It's not, you know, it's no fucking, you know, it's no, I'm trying to think of a good, like, movie example.
Citizen Kane?
Yeah, it's no Citizen Kane of video games, okay? From a story perspective. But from a gameplay perspective, in my opinion, it perfected all the, and I've already ranted about this, so I won't spend too much more time on it, but it hit all the notches that you want to have out of that sort of game. And even showed you some great things that you didn't think of before. It added I think, was it, Polygon released a video talking about how the jumping in Super Mario Odyssey was like one of the greatest things ever, because it combined something new with all of these other mechanics that we've had in Mario games before to just do something completely different and made you completely rethink the way the game was being played.
Hell yeah. All of the hat gimmicks and all the things you can do with platforming with the hat were perfect.
Yes.
Like, yeah, I mean, that's it. They were just really well executed. You can do like a lot of really cool stuff too, especially with like speedrunning. That's what I'm waiting for. They released the ADGQ. Yeah, whatever. Speedrun schedule for this year, and there was no Odyssey, and I was very disappointed because I wanted to see some kind of run.
It was because it didn't. It wasn't out yet when they made that, so they didn't know how long the runs were going to take.
That's fair.
If you've actually watched the speed run of it, it's absolutely fantastic. It's the current like top time is 1 hour and 5 minutes.
Jeez.
And it's amazing to watch. There's on speedrunning's different Twitch channels, they've actually been running a speedrun tournament for Super Mario Odyssey. That's great. But yeah, no, I think Breath of the Wild was absolutely great. I definitely would have easily voted for it as my game of the year if I didn't fill up all the rest of this shit and I didn't want to cheat and put more than one game in for game of the year. But it was not our game of the year.
Nope.
Our game of the year was actually the one game I know the game is well loved. I guess I wasn't expecting it to be in everybody's game of the year list. And that is the game I didn't play and was talking about earlier, not playing, Nier Automata. So, Tea Time, I think, is the only one in here that's actually played it.
Hell yeah. That game's sick. Yeah.
Please talk again about Nier Automata.
Okay, so Nier Automata, if you're familiar with any of Yoko Taro's works, the story is pretty standard Yoko Taro fare. A lot of subversions, a lot of suffering. a lot of despair. But the gameplay is enjoyable, as opposed to the other titles where the gameplay is usually just a giant mess that's just not very fun to play. But like all the side, like all the side content's very much worth doing. Fleshes out the world really well. All the characters are very good, very memorable. There's a lot of like really cool like twists and turns that like when they happened, I was like, oh man, are you for real? Like I was like freaking out at some parts of the game because like a lot of the revelations that are made. It's just so good. Everything about it is very good. Big fan.
Cool. Yeah, and I mean, and that sort of comes through in the picks that people made, or the commentary that people posted with their picks for the game. Chibi saying that a lot of what covers is well-worn territory, but the presentation and the soundtrack help erode the black steel walls of your cold, dead heart. The combat is kind of simplistic, and anime abounds, and yes, you need to beat it a few times to get to the core of things, but the payoff is great. ISO said it for robot waifus and good soundtrack. And I mean, there like that's sort of the feeling that I get of reading the people's little commentary about it, and that's great. I mean, I think a great game like that, should win Game of the Year awards because of its sort of its reach and its worth, if you will. Mm-hmm. And so that's great. I'm this. Obviously, Game of the Year. It's such a. I'm trying to think of like a good example, a good word to call it, but it's such a esoteric term. Like you really kind of like just say, "Oh yeah, we got to make a Game of the Year," right? But at the end of the day, like it's this is a pretty good game. It deserves to get that sort of notation, and so there you go. That's how it wins Game of the Year because most of you voted for it.
Hell yeah. And
so that's great. So that's the end of the VGZ Awards 2017. I guess at the end of this, I kind of wanted to just touch base, talk about sort of 2018 and where hopefully VGZ will be going.
But can we talk about the real 2017?
Yeah, of course.
Game of the Year.
Yeah, sure. Which one, Moto?
Garfield
Super
car.
Nintendo Classic.
The what?
The Super Nintendo Classic is the best Game of the Year.
I mean, Super Nintendo Classic was pretty good. I will agree. I love mine. I actually got a pretty cool case for mine today. I'm pretty happy about.
No Chrono Trigger, no buy. Actually, that's not true. I'll wait for it
you could probably hack it.
No, you can. You definitely can hack it.
That's what I'm waiting for. Turn it into an actual Super Nintendo emulator? Why the hell not?
Why? Well, I mean, you can. You can hack it right now. What are you talking about?
Right now?
Yeah.
Shit! Yeah. I should have bought one then.
They broke it. They broke it as quickly as they broke the NES Classic.
Damn it! Oh, I'm a fool.
You are pretty bad.
That's fine.
That's pretty terrible. Anyways, no, I just wanted to touch base and just say, hey, hopefully, I hope everybody sort of agrees that 2018 is a new year, right? Like, I hope that.
I hope so.
I'm hoping to. Yeah, I hope so, right? No, I hope to stream more this year, so hopefully, hopefully I'll be around for that. Maybe we get a new streamer or two to throw in for shits and giggles. I have to do maybe some more community events this year because we kind of didn't really do any last year. VR, maybe. I'm hoping to get a VR headset soon.
That'd be great.
Get Reaper to stream his VR setup.
Like, I really would like to hope. I'm really, as I do every year, I sort of set out to hope that we can make VGZ the best that it is. And every year we sort of fall a little bit, but that's just how it goes. So hopefully this year we can sort of continue onward. I know I'd like to try to do VGZ cast again, although maybe we should try to do it every week because we can't dedicate ourselves to doing it every week. Maybe recording them and playing them is a different idea. I don't know. We're going to talk about that. I know I have a podcast idea floating with Brightside that I was thinking about doing, so hopefully we can turn that around and hopefully that be a thing. And I mean, I'm hoping.
Remind me to do the visuals. I keep forgetting.
You're good. And personally, I just kind of want to this year, hopefully just work hard to make VGZ the best year that it can be. Right? Like,
yeah.
This, I think one thing that we were talking about in chat the other day, and we're going to look into this, going forward, is maybe moving the chat to Discord permanently, just to sort of avoid having to deal with stuff IRC wise. I'll sort of gauge some more opinions on that going forward. So I guess look forward to having a post about that in the near future. I don't know if I'm missing anything. I don't think I am. No. I guess I just want to thank everybody for being part of this community. I mean, I know I probably take it for granted a little more than I should, because y'all are here and y'all are awesome. And I love y'all. I hope you all get that feeling, and I hope you all had a good holiday. And I'm looking forward to 2018. So I hope everybody had a good year this past year, or at least as good of a year as you could have. And hopefully we can all work to make 2018 a little bit better. Yeah. On that note, all the feels, throwing the feels around. If nobody has anything else, I guess we can wrap the VGZ Awards 2017 and get on to 2018.
Yep.
Monster Hunter.
If it's coming out this year.
Monster Hunter Dragon Ball, same day.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter PC next year, maybe.
Oh
probably,
fuck.
Hopefully.
Yeah, probably.
Is going to be one fucking crazy year.
Yeah, and I hope that we can all have a good one together as a group, and maybe try to grow a little bit too. So on that note, I guess we could wrap it up here. T, thank you for streaming this evening.
Yeah, no
problem. I want to thank all the various people that joined in with us. Moto, Deadpool, Broviet, who was on for a little bit earlier, and thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you all soon.
Yep. Okay. I can't exactly. Okay, wait. I'll die if I try to go offline right now.
Oh, okay. Well, go offline right now. We can just keep talking.
All right, that's fine. I'm gonna eat it anyway. All right.
I'm just gonna eat it anyways.
That's fine. Oh, what is it? Only 100,000 souls? Nothing.
No, don't kill yourself.
I already did.
Oh well, then it was worth it.
It was. Okay. Goodbye.